Hello there and welcome back to this course. We are still on our data structure series in this Python course. And for this video, we are going to be starting out with a dictionary data structure in Python. So what is a Python dictionary? Now, a dictionary is a type of data or a structure of data that holds data or collection of data in key value pair. Now, what do I mean by key value pair? So in one of our previous videos, when we treated the list data structure, we created a list and we called it something like my list. And this data was to hold a list of a student's biodata information. And I had something like name and I had something like age and the rest of it. Now you find out that when we had this name, age, right? Assuming we were to create a list of the actual student data with their names and the age and their gender and all that, there is no place for us to pass in the actual value of their names or their age or whatever information we were gathering of them. So when it comes to a list or a tuple variable, it's kind of streamlined. But when it comes to a dictionary, it holds a key and a value so that when you have this name, you will now have something attached to it, like name is Linda and age is 24. So now the data structure that allows you to have a key, that is the name of the data, the name that you attribute to the data that you are passing in, and then the value of that data, right? So you are holding a stream of data that has a key value structure. That is a simple definition of dictionary. So one good thing about the Python dictionary is that it is mutable. You can add items to the dictionary, you can delete items to the dictionary, you can modify the data in a dictionary. But for a starters, we are going to look at how to create a dictionary. So we say that if you are creating a list, whenever you write this square bracket, Python understands that the data that you are creating here is a list. Okay, but the structure to declare a dictionary is by enclosing your data into a curly bracket. So now I'm going to change this variable here to my dict, and now we have a curly bracket. So I have not passed anything inside it yet, but if I print just like we've been doing before, the type of my dict, and we save and run, now we have that this object here is in the class dictionary. So like I mentioned earlier, the dictionary holds a key value per data. So each value in that dictionary is going to have a key, and the key of the dictionary is not mutable. So once you pass in the key of a dictionary, you cannot go and change it or update it, right? So the key is immutable, and it has to be something that can be used as a naming convention, right? So like name, like a normal string, something like that. So now we are going to start creating a dictionary, and we are going to call it the first item there. We are going to give it a key of name, and the value is going to be, well, I'm going to write in a string, and it's going to be perpetual, and I'm going to separate it, the next value with comma, and I'm going to pass in another key, and this time around I'm going to say gender. So I'll go with small letter gender, and I'm going to pass in the value, and this time around it's also a string of female. The next one, I'm going to create another key of age, and I'm going to pass in the value of 25. And well, let's work with this for now. So now also we know that we can create our data structure by using their type constructor, right? So like the one of list, we use the list constructor. The one of tuple, we use the tuple constructor, and even the one of the other data types, floats and all of them, right? So also dictionary has its own constructor, and that is just this dict constructor. And how do we use this dict constructor to create a dictionary? First of all, we can use it in various ways. Okay, we can use it to create a dictionary by calling it on a set of keyword arguments. So we can have a list of keyword arguments, and I'm going to create a variable here that will hold that list of keyword arguments for me, or a collection of keyword arguments. It's not exactly a list, But now I'm just going to call it keyword underscore collection. So I'll just leave it there, and I'm going to open a parenthesis, and I'll start creating a list of keywords. So, and the first one I'm going to create that exact same data there. So I will pass in name, and I'll, without giving any space, I will set it to the string perpetual. The second one, gender, and without giving any space, I will set it to female. And the third one, I'm going to pass in age, and without any space, I'm going to pass in the value of 25. So this particular place, I'm going to call the dict constructor on it. So before I call this dict constructor, you can see that Python is complaining that this parenthesis was not closed. Okay, so now I am going to just call the dict constructor on it, and now you see that the error disappears. So now this is it for this method. Now the next method that we are going to use is that we are going to be having a list of lists. So we already know that a list is enclosed in a square bracket. So I'm going to call it new list, and I will set it to a list of lists. So now this list, this outside list that has this yellow color, is housing the other lists that are going to be inside. So, and each of the lists that are going to be inside are going to hold two values. So after we convert it to a dictionary, the first value becomes the key, and the second value becomes the value, right? So I'm going to go for name, and then I'll separate it with comma, and I'm going to write in the value of name. So name here is going to be the key after we convert it to a dictionary. Now the second one is gender, and I'm going to pass in the value, and I'm going to call it female, just like it is in the original dictionary. And the last one, I'm going to create another list again, and the key is going to be age, and I'm going to separate it with comma, and the value is going to be 25. So now that is for this list. So if I want to convert it to a dictionary, I just come here and I write maybe list to dict, and open this parenthesis and pass in the new list. So the fourth method I'm going to state here is that we can use a list of tuples to create a dictionary. So I'm going to call this one list of tuples, right? And I'm going to set it to, well, create a list, and then we create a tuple inside the list. So the tuples are going to have two items, just like the list here has two items. So I'm just going to copy this data and fill it into this tuples. So separate the tuples by comma, create another tuple, copy the second data, and I will paste here and create the third tuple, and copy this data here too and paste it. So now if I want to convert it to a dictionary, I just create a variable and call it maybe tuple to dictionary, and I'll set it to, well, this, I'll just set it to, well, this, I'll call the dict constructor on it, and pass in that list of tuples, right? So I'm going to add three more print statements here. So I'm going to print all the dictionary data that we have here. So here we are printing the type of my list. So but this time around we are going to print, well, my dict, and also the type of my dict, right? So this time around, the second one that we are going to print is keyword collections, and the type of keyword collections. Then we print the third thing, We first print list to dictionary, and then the type of that object, list to dictionary. And the fourth one, we are going to print tuple to dictionary and the type also. So now that we are done with all of this, we are going to save this file and run. So now we can see that, okay, so this time around we forgot to add the dict constructor here. So I'm going to add this as a dict constructor so that it will print appropriately. And now we have the same exact data in all cases, and they all came out as dictionaries, right? So whenever you see anything that looks like this, you just know that you can convert them to dictionaries by calling the dict constructor on them and use them in your project. Okay, and you also know that whenever you see something like this, you know that this is what is happening, that a list is being converted to a dictionary. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.